Hello and welcome back to
Hi,
Macabre and
everybody.
Company.
Macabre Company season two, baby.
Season 2, we are here.
Season two, we're doing it. Welcome back, everyone. We're really excited to be jumping into a new episode. We've just had how long off? Maybe a month since we recorded.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, a month off. It was well needed, I think, and well deserved. I think we learned a lot from our first run of this. Uh,
Yes, absolutely.
what is the biggest lesson you learned from season one?
To get a cool new microphone so I can sound more crisp and clear.
You sound gorgelino.
Thank you. I'm very excited.
You're gonna have to sing for us one day, but I won't
Oh,
just
yes,
on the spot
absolutely.
like that. I want you to
No,
sing something really kooky and spooky, like the Addams Family theme song.
it's 9 a.m. I'm not ready to belt, but another day, absolutely.
Well, I'm really excited to get spooky with you again, Erica.
I'm so excited to hear what you have on in store for us today.
So I'm gonna start like going back to England again. I know people are like, he's going back to England, but when I don't know if it's just because I'm here, but I feel like mainstream stories around the macabre and around the paranormal, a lot of them are based in the US. Like you hear a lot about Area 51. You hear a lot about American conspiracy theories. I mean, you don't hear much coming out of the UK. And I don't know if that's because the UK is really small, so it's hard to have a conspiracy theory because all you have to do is look over your fence and you can find out facts, you know?
Yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
or if it's just because I'm so disconnected from the country, right? And my algorithm, right? Because the algorithm does everything for us now.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just not delivering you the English conspiracies.
I didn't like, honestly, I've been not learning about algorithms, but like I read about them and stuff, and that in itself is a conspiracy theory.
Oh,
Like,
it's wild.
but it's not even a conspiracy theory. It's true. The people like are controlling what we see. I don't know who, but
Yeah.
like Amazon, right? Like they control what we see on our televisions and commercials and stuff. You know,
Hmm.
insane. The other day, I just happened to, and I don't even recall saying it out loud, but I must have said it out loud. I was like, "Oh my God, I haven't topped up the bird seed in the front yard for a couple of weeks, right? It's empty, and I feel bad on the birds. I just keep forgetting to get bird seed. They're wild. They're fine, everyone. They're wild birds. They're not my pet. I just put bird seed out. And then I swear to God, sat on the couch, a commercial pops up and it's got someone in the front yard with birds, and in the bottom corner, a little bubble pops up and said, "Need bird seed? Hit OK to order now from Amazon," because we have the smart TV, right? But I'm like, what the
Stop.
fuck? Like I was looking, it wasn't even a commercial for bird seed. It was a commercial that had birds on it. And then this thing popped up. It's like the screen got smaller, like picture in a picture, and on the side it was
Yeah.
bird seed hit this with the brand like
Whoa. It is listening to you. Oh my gosh, that TV
it
is too
listened to
smart.
my brain because I don't remember saying I'm out of bird seed. Maybe I told the dogs. I do tell the dogs weird things sometimes.
But also, if you said I need to get birdseed out loud, your TV's listening to you. Did you click OK? Did you order it?
No, I didn't. I was like, oh, went back to the video because you can like I hit right to the screen, hit the OK there, and the picture got bigger again. And then I think I sat there for ages thinking, this is just like insane, you know?
I mean, if you had clicked OK, you might already have birdseed now. So maybe you should next time you should.
Also true. I still don't have birdseed. I was just weirded out. I don't like doing stuff like that because, I mean, even though I know everything's linked up, but I've never used my television for Amazon. So how does my TV know to go into my Amazon account and order me birdseed? Weird.
It's so smart. That's wild.
So anyway, on that, moving away from the algorithm and stuff, my inner conspiracy theories in my house. I
Mm.
want to talk about essentially the UK's version of Area 51.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
So this story is a little. There's going to be a little bit mixed because this story is like surrounded in history. I mean, we all know that England is such an old place. But we're diving into this place. It's in the Wiltshire countryside. It's called Rudloe Manor, spelled Rudloe Manor.
Mm.
Manor.
Good luck.
So it sits at the crossroads of history and conspiracy theory. There's many stories, but also if you go in YouTube and search for Rudloe Manor, people have gotten in there. It's not like Area 51 where you can't get anywhere near it.
Yeah.
you can get onto the property quite simply by just exploring the English countryside because that's just, I mean, you've seen it, right? You can just jump over a wall from someone's farm and you're on other land, right?
Yeah.
But it's really top secret. It's really secretive. There's parts of it that you can't get to, and we'll get into where everything's possibly hidden and what
Oh
it's.
my gosh, I'm so excited.
So Rudloe Manor was just kind of like another estate in the UK, like an old manor house that you see, like beautiful Victorian architecture, like sans, the beautiful ones, gravel driveways, all that, gorgeous,
Yeah.
gorgeous. Usually got stables for the horses and farms attached to it, and other buildings for like cottages and whatever. Like the land's usually owned, whatever. There's lots of them in the Yorkshire countryside, beautiful. The royals own loads of them. Very that, aristocracy kind of British historical Georgian manor, I should say. I said Victorian, I mean Georgian manners. Like so beautiful, but now it's abandoned. It looks abandoned, but upkept, right? Like there's definitely no one
Mm.
there at face value. Like there's no cars going in and out of like the main driveway, but it's still there on the property. It's just empty. A lot of people think there's lots lurking beneath. So let's talk about the origins and history of the building. Do you have any questions so far?
No, I'm so excited.
Okay, great. Good. So, story begins centuries ago, long before Rudloe Manor gained its reputation for secrecy. Like I said, it's located near the village of Box in Wiltshire. The manor was originally a Georgian country house. Some records suggest that its history could date back even further, though, due to earlier structures on the site. So maybe the Georgian manor part of it isn't the original structure, and Rudloe Manor is actually there longer, and maybe that's not the original building. But the main house, the big, beautiful part of it, was built in the Georgian era. Like many English estates, Rudloe Manor would have been the seat for the wealthy, the rich, royals, family of royals, and likely part of the landed gentry who shaped rural England's social society. So a lot of people from the cities used to go and buy all these land, right? Even though they weren't necessarily farmers, they did it for the hunting and they would employ like farmers and stable keepers. And it was just kind of like
Mm.
show up of I'm rich. And they would just throw big parties at these manors and go and stay there for nicer weather in the summer and stuff. But they were like located in the city.
Yeah.
Um, so unfortunately, though, detailed records about Rudloe's Manor's early history are scarce, leaving much of its pre-military life shrouded in mystery. What we do know is that by the 20th century, its charm and strategic location would place it on a very different path to the one that most manors and lands like that, properties like that, go on. So, beautiful place. It's in the countryside. It's got a lot of land. But mysteriously, for some reason, you can't find out much history of it as to who owned it before the current owners, which we'll go into in a second.
Did you say how much land there is?
Let me see. No, but I could find out. I don't think I actually have that in my notes. Oh, gosh, you always have great questions. Oh, Google it while I'm talking.
Okay, I was just trying to picture it.
Um,
Um,
I mean, it's
and
a
sorry,
lot.
how do you spell it again?
Rudloe,
Rudloe.
Rudloe Manor.
Okay.
So let's talk about Rudloe Manor, World War II and beyond. So let's fast forward to the 1940s, right? So Georgian era onwards, lots of socialites, lots of parties, but also giving back to the community, right? Like jobs for the local villagers. Does it say?
Yeah, is it in the one in Corsham, Wiltshire?
Yeah, Wilshire.
It's so the house is approximately 5,397 square feet. The barn and outbuildings, sorry, I don't know what's going on with my voice. The barn and outbuildings are 3,813 square feet, and there's 15 acres of gardens, as well as a 9-hole practice golf course.
Wow.
So 15 acres. Okay, now I can picture it in my head. Okay, thank you. I'm ready.
So let's fast forward to the early 1940s. Like World War II was full on going, doing its thing. Terrible time. Britain as a whole is in survival mode. It's against some huge countries. It was during this time that Rudloe Manor was commandeered by the British government. So what happened in World War II was, fun fact, my grandmother was born the day that World War II broke out. So,
Wow.
yeah, pretty cool actually. And she survived it. What happened is, they evacuated all the children from the cities to the countryside. What they did with the military too was very much the same thing. Anything that's important, people of importance, they all kind of went there. And there was a big spend of the government. They were going and they were buying up huge properties, right? Because they needed them, and it was so they could hide things, right? So they could
Mm.
hide the military and hide their intelligence systems and all that kind of jazz. Because obviously back then the people that were fighting against the knew mainly the cities may not have, extensial knowledge of the countryside, right? So they were aiming for the cities, all that stuff, like basic information.
Mhm.
So they did the same thing. They purchased Rudloe Manor. Now, it was commandeered and repurposed for military use. Its location, close to Bath, which is a beautiful city, and not far from an RAF airfield, right? So it's easy access for the military too. That's the Royal Air Force, RAF. Rudloe Manor became the headquarters for RAF Number 10 Group, which was responsible for coordinating air defences across the whole of southwest England. It played a vital role during the Battle of Britain, helping defend cities like Bristol and Cardiff from German raids. But its strategic importance didn't end the war. As Cold War began, Rudloe Manor itself found itself at the center of Britain's intelligence and defense infrastructure. Its role evolved into something way more secretive. So it went from being, the wars continue, but then they kind of lost use for it, but in a military aspect, but they kept hold of it, right? So
Mm.
let's jump to now and just talk about trying to get to it. So when you're driving to it, there is a YouTuber, and the channel is called Exploring with Fighters, and he's this British guy, and he goes to explore Rudloe Manor because there's an expert that he met who's another YouTuber, whose YouTube channel I think is called Secret Vault. I will link them. We'll link them.
Yeah.
'Cause they're really good and it's a great video. Um, so they're driving there and they just get into the village. As they're in the village, they get out of the car to meet this specialist that they're meeting up with in this public area near a park, wooded area, whatever, just very standard English village. And they're talking about it, right? They're just talking about Rudloe Manor, and he's like, "This is where we're going to get onto the property today, and this is where we can't go, and we have to be very careful, and da, 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 right? All the rules and stuff." And this car pulls up, this civilian car, and this guy gets out, and he's like, "Hey, what's going on?" And he's like, "Nothing. I'm just here with a friend." And he's like, "What are you doing here?" And he's like, well, we're like, why? Like, there's nothing to do with you. And this guy starts getting angry with him, and he's like, no, 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 like, you can't be here. And he's like, why? This is public space. This is a village. And the guy's like, well, what are you doing? Like, you look suspicious. And he goes, I'm a YouTuber and I explore abandoned places. And he's very honest with him, and he tells him what he does. And this guy kind of shifts and starts pretending. You can tell that he's kind of like pretending to be interested, but his questions are so specific. You're like, this guy's wearing a fucking wire. I
Yeah.
speak on Erica. So he asks
Oh my
questions
gosh.
stuff about it. And then eventually he's like, all right, well, good. Well, maybe I'll look you up and blah, blah, blah. And he gets in the car and he drives off. And the other guy's like, totally, they're looking up who you are right now. Like, they already know who you are. He's like, that was a
Yeah.
because they know that we're close. He's like, they probably know who I am because I've got YouTube videos. And like, he does all this stuff. Anyway, so that's how crazy it is now to getting close to it. So that's, think about that in your head about how it's secretive it. So let's talk about the transition from like an RAF and kind of military intelligence base to a really major intelligence hub at the end of World War II and the Cold War. So after World War II, Rudloe Manor transitioned from an operational air defense site to a nerve center for intelligence. The manor became home to the Director of Signals, which oversaw critical communications for the RAF, the Royal Air Force. By the 1950s, the site had become synonymous with classified information and operations, a black hole of secrecy in the Wiltshire countryside. Like,
Ooh.
so yeah, so now it was like heavily guarded, like people didn't really talk about it when asked. Officials were very much like, we've closed that site down now for the after the war's over. We just use it for basic things, storage, etc., etc. But adding
Don't pay no mind. Don't look behind this curtain. We're not doing anything over here.
right? But then what's also intriguing is that it's so close to the Royal Air Force Caution, which housed an extensive network of underground bunkers and tunnels. Like, so that area is known as an area that has many cave systems and tunnel systems anyway. There's lots of videos you can use of people trying to explore these, and there's lots of areas where you will literally see in the countryside a doorway, like with like a garage door kind of thing, but they've put iron bars over it so you cannot even get to the door to try and break it anymore. Like a lot of this stuff
Whoa.
is like closed off. Yeah. Like they've gone to big lengths, the government or whoever's in charge of this stuff, to really cover up any entrance to any of these tunnels or cave systems. Like, why do they know?
Wow.
And it's not just for safety reasons. Like, it's you can tell because if it was just safety, they'd be signing the safety, all that. But maybe I
Yep.
watched too many of these videos. But it's all pretty weird.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait to see the videos too.
Yeah. So these
Supplemental
heavy
research.
facilities, originally built as ammunition storage sites, were repurposed during the Cold War to house government operations and protect vital personnel in the event of nuclear strike as well. So, that was a very well-known area. It was easy access for them to get, important people to in the military, in the government. That was the plan. Because now this is the Cold War, right? Like everyone's talking about nuclear war. So boom, this is the plan. Rudloe Manor's role in as a linchpin in Britain's intelligence network, combined with these underground facilities, laid the groundwork for the conspiracy theories that would start to emerge about Rudloe Manor. Bum bum.
Ooh.
Insert creepy alien soundbite here.
Do do do.
So it wasn't just the military's presence that drew attention to Rudloe Manor. It was increasing security measures too, right? So locals that live in the villages, start to notice a bigger police presence. Like, why do we need all these police? We're a small village. There's very low crime rate around here. We're close to the military too, so like we're protected. But so what's going on? So people start thinking it's a little bit weird now. Locals began noticing the barbed wire fences around fields and stuff. Now, there's a difference between a barbed wire fence to keep your cows in and a barbed wire fence that's a military one, right? So some people
Yeah.
say it's fine, it's farmland. Yes, we do in the countryside use, wire fencing to keep your animals back, keep other animals from getting in, foxes and such. Or they did at least when I was growing up in the countryside up there. I remember that like some of them had really scary wire on it. You didn't climb over into those fences. You knew the farmers wanted you to stay out, right? But so locals began noticing the barbed wire fences, heavily armed guards, and the construction of secure perimeters. So like big fences, big gates, places. Cameras
Mm.
started going up as well. Street signs started coming down to try and urge people to go in other directions as well, which is weird, right? But they would like make almost divert traffic without diverting traffic, right? Like just kind of move stuff around to keep people away. And they started noticing all these things happening to their village, more people coming through. The pub got kind of busier, and people were like, "What's going on?" Um,
Suspicious.
yeah, totally suspicious. No one was really entirely sure what was happening inside the manor or even beneath it, because at this point, people knew those tunnels were there from a long time ago, but nothing really happened anymore. So by the 1950s, Rudloe Manor was not just another RAF station. It had become a hub for covert intelligence work, monitoring British airspace for potential threats. However, it was also tied to something more mysterious, Erica.
Oh my gosh. The suspense.
Tip of wine for our listeners.
Mm-hmm.
UFO investigations.
There it is.
Okay, for the
Eee.
watching us on YouTube, Parker joined us.
Hi, Parker. Hi,
Oh,
baby.
Parker on the podcast? No, he doesn't talk. He's a dog.
Mm.
Okay, so let's talk about UFO investigations and declassified files from the UK government. In 2007, the UK government declassified a series of files that would catapult Rudloe Manor into the spotlight. These documents revealed that during the 1950s, Rudloe Manor was in the foresight of the RAF's investigations into UFO sightings across Britain. The files detail a surge of unexplained aerial phenomena reported by civilians and military personnel alike. From strange lights in the sky to fast-moving, unidentified objects military that defied the laws of physics, the reports were numerous and often unnerving. While the government maintained that these investigations were routine and focused on national security, skeptics were convinced that Rudloe Manor was into something different. Aliens.
Mm.
Going on. Was Rudloe Manor simply gathering data on potential Soviet aircraft, or was it hiding something far stranger?
I guess far stranger.
I'm getting
One
quite
vote.
dramatic with this, and I keep in my head I'm hearing like noises, like
Yeah.
like dun dun dun, all that sort of
Dun,
stuff.
dun, dun, dun.
Our listeners can probably just hear Parker licking my knee too. I'm sorry.
Mm.
He thinks we're doing an ASMR video.
Oh my gosh, we should.
Don't lick my leg, bub. Alrighty, let's talk about some conspiracy theories. So this is where the story takes a turn, right? So we're going to go in a little bit of a weird path now. There's lots of weird things that have been said about this place, but I believe some of them. There's definitely something weird that goes on there because after that whole incident that happened in the parking lot with those guys on the video I was watching, they go there and the fences are huge. The cameras are there. And then they can't get in, so then they start to drive. He's like, okay, let's go for a drive. We'll go somewhere else. They get pulled over by these cops, Erica.
Whoa.
Oh my gosh. They get pulled over by these cops. I'm not going to spoil it, but I'm going to spoil it. They get pulled over by these cops, and they're like, what's going on? And they take ages, and then another car pulls up, and the police dog gets out, and they're like, stay in your vehicle. We have a police dog. Then like another cop car comes, and then they're like, I want your license. So he's like, I don't have my license with me. She's like, what's your name? Give me a credit card. I want to know your name. She walks off. She comes back and she's like, what are you doing here? Where have you been? And he's like, oh, we've been here. We are filming a documentary about UFOs. And she's like, what you want about UFOs? And starts playing dumb. She's totally playing.
Mm.
And he's like, oh, I thought you pulled us over because of the UFO conspiracy. Like, I thought you pulled us over because we were too close to your, like, to Rudloe Manor or whatever. And
Yeah.
she's like, oh, no, no, no. Someone's duplicated your license plate. And they, yesterday in London, someone was driving and got in trouble and used your license plate. So we thought it was them. Like, it's such a
Mm.
stupid shit story. Like,
That's so stupid.
and then she starts asking, oh, she's like, but you're a YouTuber. Oh, what's your name? And then she gets the information that way. And I'm like, you're giving up your information to this woman. Like,
Yeah.
more information than you need to. Anyway, then they let him go because they said they're driving off. Yeah. I can't wait.
Wow. Oh my gosh. I cannot wait. I'm gonna watch those videos tonight.
Yeah. So let's explore some of the most prominent theories surrounding this enigmatic site.
Let's do it.
Underground tunnels and complexes. The first theory revolves around the extensive underground facilities said to exist beneath Rudloe Manor that we talked about earlier. While it's confirmed that tunnels connect the manor to the RAF site in Corsham, conspiracy theories claim these facilities are far more extensive than the government admits. Now Simon's drinking water, so some more ASMR for our listeners. Some believe those tunnels house laboratories where alien technology is being reverse engineered. Others speculate
Whoa.
they contain secret storage facilities for crashed UFOs or even alien bodies. Now, the UK countryside is known for lots of alien stories. I've told you, Grandma versus Aliens. If you're a new listener, season one, there's an episode called Grandma versus Aliens when my grandmother witnessed a very clear UFO. Anyway, go back and watch it.
Have a listen. Yeah.
Listen to it, watch it. But it's very known for that. So it's also pretty small comparatively, right? So here in the US, if there's an alien crash site in New Jersey, it's going to be really hard for them to move the crash site and all the evidence to Area 51, right? I'm sure they can do it now, but it would be
Yeah.
difficult. Whereas in the UK, it's pretty easy if someone crashes anywhere to move them anywhere because it's
Yeah.
so small, right?
Mm.
So a lot of people believe that it is a central hub for that. And when you look around, I think into other stories about alien spacecraft and sightings, there's lots of evidence that points to Rudloe Manor being pretty central to all these sightings. Like they figured out this is a pretty good spot for us to be in for all this kind of stuff. So there's a theory that Rudloe Manor played a role in covering up evidence of extraterrestrial life Some point to reports of increased military activity following UFO sightings actually near the manor and the village. Could the site have been used to analyze and recover alien spacecraft? Theories like these gained traction after similar claims were made about Roswell in the United States. So there's a connection. And also, with the
Mm,
hysteria around UFOs after Roswell, people all over the world start talking about it. So maybe there's some truth in that. Maybe is this just another thing made up, because we know that the Brits really like to do, if the Americans do something, the Brits like to do it pretty soon after.
very true, very true.
They're like, wait, they can't be the only ones with an alien story. We've got to have one.
Yeah. We also want some aliens. Look at our cool aliens.
A sip of wine and a little Yorkshire Terrier. Speaking of aliens, look at this little gremlin.
He's
Sorry,
such a
guys, for our
gremlin.
listeners. Our little scruffy Yorkshire Terrier Simon is now sat on my lap.
If you are on any other platform and you're listening, pull the car over, turn the video on, have a little look at our little friend, our mascot. It's
Parker
so cute.
Simon. Ooh,
All
buddy.
right, you can drive. You can drive again. Back
Okay,
to the tail.
back to the story. So another theory, government black projects. So another theory links Rudloe Manor to black projects, top secret government programs investigating advanced technologies. These could range from experimental aircraft to exotic weapons. The lack of transparency around the manor operations only fuels these suspicions. Another
Ooh.
theory is mind control experiments. And then there's like some really, really bizarre out there things, but this is one that people claim to have got evidence on or to have worked there and known about. Rudloe Manor was testing groundbreaking psychological warfare and mind control devices. While there's no
Ooh.
evidence to support it physically, just stories and rumor, it's a recurring theme in conspiracy circles, you know?
Ooh.
About that. So let's talk about the locals. What do the locals think, the people that live in the village? Well, for decades, the people living near Rudloe Manor have watched its story unfold. Many have shared their own anecdotes about strange happenings in the area. Some speak of unusual lights in the sky that seem to hover above the manor. Others recall unmarked military vehicles traveling to and from the site at really weird hours. Rudloe Manor is simply a relic for some of them, though, of Britain's military past. For others, it's a constant reminder that the government might be hiding something extraordinary right in their backyard. One former resident actually described an encounter with a security patrol who warned them to stay away from the area and said you might even want to move away, like because this isn't a good.
Whoa.
Yeah. So where does Rudloe Manor stand today? Officially, the site is no longer in active military use. The manor itself has reportedly fallen into disrepair, though its connection to the Royal Air Force in Corsham and its network of underground facilities keeps the rumours alive. Even as the physical site fades, the legend of Rudloe Manor continues to thrive. UFO enthusiasts, conspiracy theorists, and history buffs alike remain captivated by its story, and while the declassification of files in 2007 shed light on its operations, it also left lots of unanswered questions. However, I think there's a lot of people in the UK with not a lot to do and not a lot of conspiracy theories to play with that they're gonna figure this one out. Someone's gonna get
Yeah.
in. Maybe it's gonna be like Stranger Things when they get into the underground underneath the mall.
Maybe.
I don't know. But Rudloe Manor is a testament to the intersection of history and conspiracy in the UK. I guess it's a really well-known story, and obviously we know that stories grow from that and exaggerations, but especially from all the speculation over the years. But from its early days as a quiet Georgian manor to its role in the wartime intelligence system, is why it's become such an incredible conspiracy theory. It's a place that
Yeah.
refuses to be forgotten. What do you think? What do you think's going on in
Oh,
Rudolph Manor, Erica?
aliens for sure. For sure, there's aliens. They are studying them. They're trading information with the states. There's aliens in the bottom in the tunnels. There's maybe they've got some live aliens, and we're trying to figure out their language.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think it's the fact if it was just a derelict manor and there was nothing there, there wouldn't be such a military presence. Why is there such there?
Yeah.
So essentially, you'll see in these videos. I encourage anyone to just search Rudloe Manor on YouTube, like I mentioned, and look at. I'll link some cool videos as well. but look it up, have a watch of the videos. You'll see that it's insane how much military presence there is there and police presence. But then you can see what's clear to the public eyes. There's nothing there, but there's definitely something below, and there's definitely something going on in the shadows. So
Yes, absolutely. I
it,
believe.
visit when you're there.
Oh, it is. I wonder how far it is. I mean, nothing's too far in England. We could probably get there.
You could probably get a train there from Manchester in about an hour and a half.
Oh my gosh, worth it. That's how long it takes me to get to work in Melbourne.
Oh, what
Okay.
did you enjoy my story of Rudloe Manor?
I loved your story for Rudloe Manor. My interest is piqued. I think we are continuing with our space. I think we ended last season on a bit of a space theme, and I think we're going strong with some more
Oh my
space.
gosh. Is that what we are now? Is this changed to Macabre Aliens and Company? No,
Maybe that's who the company is, Macabre and Aliens.
Macabre and Alien. We'll definitely get some more spooky, more paranormally stuff soon though, huh?
Yes, I think Ro and I have one to share as well.
I'm so
So
excited.
yeah,
Can
it's
we
gonna
do
be
one
really
this
fun.
week? Can we all be on that one?
Oh, yes, always, of course. Can you tell the people what you learned in season one? You asked me, and then I forgot to ask you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So season one, what did I learn? I learned that there's a lot more crazy stuff going on in the universe than we think in our regular day-to-day lives. Like literally in the moment of being sat at work and you're like talking to a client and creating an experience and being like, life is wonderful. Woo! There's someone tied up in a basement in like Back Swamp, Georgia, that's been there for 20
Yeah,
years. And they're like half person, half alien. And there's a
and
ghost living in the basement with them and that plays the piano.
yeah, and there's aliens in tunnels in English manors. Like so many things are happening at the same time.
Yeah. So do you know, okay, fun fact as well, right? This is totally off topic, but fun fact, I only learned yesterday that apparently you can freeze a cockroach and then you can freeze it. Just freeze a cockroach and then leave it for a long time and then unfreeze it and it'll come back to life.
Yeah, because isn't that why they say that cockroaches are going to be the only thing left after the apocalypse?
I mean, what? Like, figure
They're
that shit,
very
guys. Figure out how the cockroach does it and then letting the teachers how to do it. Like, it has to be a gene or something. Let's get that gene in a vial. Let's spin it around in one of those machines. Let's inject it into
centrifuge.
someone. And then when things go to shit, freeze me up. And then when you all have got shit figured back out, unfreeze me.
Unfreeze you. All right. I'll freeze you. I'll bring it back when we're ready.
I love that.
That really
Well,
required me to survive the apocalypse as well in order to unfreeze
I
you.
think you would, to be honest, because you'd be
I
so positive throughout the whole thing that like any negative energy from any nuclear disaster would just bounce right off you.
I, I love that. I think so. I think you're
I'd
right.
probably do the whole thing wearing a unicorn mask.
I absolutely would. They wouldn't know I was human because I'd be like, it's okay, I'm just a unicorn.
You'd be like, oh, that's the last unicorn. Nope, it's Erica.
Ha, sneaky. Oh my
Well,
gosh,
Erica,
George,
tell
it's so
everyone,
good to be back.
you too. Tell everybody where they can find us.
Absolutely. All right, my friends, you can follow us on anywhere you get any platform, oh my gosh, I ran out of words there. Any platform you can listen to podcasts at Macabre and Company. You can join our Patreon at Macabre and Company. You can follow us on TikTok until it's banned, Instagram, and YouTube at Macabre and Company.
All
Get
right,
into it.
folks. Thank you for joining us today as we talked about Rudloe Manor. Erica, it's been a pleasure as always.
It's
We
so
love
good to
you
see
all,
you.
and we'll see you next time for another episode here in season 2 of Macabre and Company. And don't forget, everybody,
Stay spooky.
bye, guys.